When I was doing 9 to 5, it was a lot of people becoming makeup artists at the time. I said, let's do a local brand. And maybe I freshened up a little bit, but I was pretty dark skinned then.
Yeah.
And I swatched it, it wasn't showing. It was gray. And I knew I needed to create something about pencil for us. I love growth. The one thing I say is I don't see competition. That if you have a passion for whatever it is that you're doing, you need to have that. You need to want to learn about it. There was a customer that called me. You could tell that she was learned. She called me back. Hey, I just want to let you know that I've gotten your brow pencil, but I need to say something to you. When you make something this good, you never ever let it sell. I say, yes, ma'am.
Hello, my people. Welcome once again. It is MTN Career Series, and today we're having a fantastic conversation. We're going into the world of beauty. We're going deep into the world of beauty. You know what we do? We bring you only change makers, people that have been making a fantastic remark in what they do, and that's why we have this powerful lady right here with us. Now, she comes from a background of finance. Guess what? She topped her class. So first of all, you know that she's quite intelligent. Now, she is the founder and CEO of Didi Beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's welcome Doyinsola Afolabi.
Hello. Okay, we're coming. That's
How are you?
I'm very well.
When I saw you top the class with finance, I'm like, oh my God.
I mean,
that's such a big deal.
We gotta make sure that daddy's money is well spent.
I know,
you know.
And that means
African
no, for me,
stuff.
what I thought is that you're good in maths.
Well, I love numbers. I'll put that out there. Definitely love numbers.
I feel intimidated because I hate maths. I don't know maths.
Oh no, don't somewhere compliment each other. You do like some of the
High five,
English
girl.
stuff. I do the numbers. That's good.
You do a great job, and she's a powerhouse in terms of makeup. But before we even delve into that, I know you're coming from a background of finance. But one thing that's very peculiar is that you started liking makeup because your dad was buying makeup for your mom. And most of the times we hear that girls like makeup because of their mothers. So when I saw your father, I'm like, please take me through that.
Yeah, my father is anything beauty and education.
Wow.
You know, I remember growing up, there's one story I tell everyone. My father doesn't live in Nigeria, he's British, right? And then every time he was coming back, you have 2 check bags. One whole bag is full of makeup. So that's like, 23 kg of makeup.
Wow.
Right? And maybe lingerie for my mom and all that stuff, right? And then one day we were at home and it was 2 a.m. And my mom came to wake me up. And then she's like, oh, daddy said I should put my makeup down. He wants to wake up and be seeing his money on me. So everyone was awake at 2 a.m. And then I think she had made rice for him to eat. And we were doing the makeup at 2 a.m. And he was telling me, draw the eyebrow pencil to reach here. I want green eyeshadow. Yeah. And then I want the blush. Yeah. Like this. And then he said something, I want the what's it called, the brow to look like tadpole. I don't, what does that mean? You know, that's how much makeup that my father likes. And one time I was visiting him in England and I was living in London at the time, but he was living in Bristol. So he was going to take me to the train station. But I was going home. And I didn't see the need to wear makeup to my own house. Yeah. And I got into the car and he's like, where's your makeup? I said, it's in the trunk. He said, what's he doing in the trunk? I said, I'm going home, it's in the trunk. And then he hit me like, go and put makeup on me. And then he went to the trunk, pulled out my bag and said, put powder on your face. You know, that's how much. And then there was one time, you know, he upset me real bad. Like I went to bed upset. And when I woke up in the morning, I was doing dishes. And then he came, he said, I'm sorry. Okay, take £5, buy powder. You know, that's how much my father loves makeup.
This is such a beautiful story.
I'm telling you.
You never hear this kind of story.
No, my father, anything beauty, you get that money.
But I want to know, did your mom love makeup as well?
Right, I mean,
or he pushed it on her.
He pushed it on her, you know. But now she loves makeup. She goes everywhere with makeup. She's going to the market. She has at least powder and brow pencil and a gloss or something. But yeah, she's always loved makeup. She's always loved everything beauty. I think my father's favorite hairstyle for her was Shadia do.
Okay.
And then he'll tell you he wants it so long to reach your butt. That's it.
Shout out to daddy. Shout out to your daddy. Your daddy's like a Gen Z.
I know. So I grew up with a lot of makeup around me. I mean, my mom, you know, really was pushing back because we're too young to be wearing makeup at the time. Yeah. And I know that one thing that was really peculiar was it was a lot of makeup that he was bringing in, but they were in our skin tone.
Oh. Okay.
It was like white people makeup. We didn't have a lot of brands that were catering to black skin at the time. But he was just packing everything.
Like just put everything. Inside.
This is nice. Put it, whether or not it was our shade. But when MAC was now out there for everyone, then we all had an account with MAC. So he'll call on the phone and say, "Oh, I'm at Mac." Then he'll show them our pictures. Then they'll pick.
Please, can we share that? Can we?
No, we don't share.
But you know, it's so beautiful that I know that he didn't have a problem that you were going into the makeup world.
He didn't, right? I think for him, he's aside from the beauty and you know all of that education, is also a very traditional man, which is when when you're done with school, you get a proper job, and then you get married, right? And he just didn't understand the fact that you were applying for a job on your phone. It took a while to understand that. Talk less of now going out on your own and doing a business. Up till now, my father still doesn't. Sometimes, I mean, you want them to want you or whatever, you know. And then maybe I send some cash to him and he's like, "What do you do?"
But I don't know your dad, but I love him already.
It's like, what do you do? Because he knows that I work remote. I'm at home. Like, so what do you do? What are you selling? And I think one time we did a rebranding. We changed from Beauty Line by Didi to Didi Beauty, and everyone was like reposting the logo. And he also reposted the logo because everybody in the family had the logo as their DP. He didn't want to be the only one, but obviously he didn't know what was going on. And then somebody on his WhatsApp sent him a message that, "Why are you using this logo?" And then he goes, "Oh, everybody in my family is using it perfectly. It's for my daughter." And the woman was like, "No, this beauty brand is not for your daughter. I use her product. I live in Festa." And that was his mates in secondary school. I think it was that moment he realized that I had built something.
Wow. Oh my God. This is actually so beautiful. He still doesn't
understand what, the idea of, in those days, you print out your CV and go and apply for a job. But you're online applying for a job, you're working remote, you are starting a business, he's thriving at this age.
Couldn't get it. Shout out to your dad. But let's talk about Didi Beauty itself. At what point? I know you grew up with makeup, you loved makeup and all of that, but going into business is a bold step. It's not every day you see people get up and be like, "You know what, I don't want to work, I want to follow my passion." For you, when did you know that you wanted to start Didi Beauty?
For everything entrepreneurial has just been my own path, right? Even though I did a 9-to-5, and I'm grateful for that because I think that it gave me a solid foundation, and it was a lot of learning because I did some research as part of my career. So just studying like businesses and their financials, right? So it gave me a solid foundation to how to run a business. But before then, I was running businesses. I was always doing something. My mom sold something at home, so at 8 years old I just wanted to know what she was doing as she was making money. So a lot of things that I was doing were things that you would do in the business world, but I didn't have a term for it. There was no term to it, right? So something that I did when I was just about to exit uni was I sold some shirts for someone that imported shirts from Bali, and I sold it in school. However, I didn't sell some. Right? And I just thought to myself, well, I already made profit from this one. The other ones I can sell it below, the regular price and still make a spread. And now that's what you call profit sharing. Right?
And that's where the finance plays in.
So it was when I explained at my interview when I got my 9-to-5 that this is what I did, and then he gave me a term that's what you call so like you spread the profit. So it doesn't matter that you didn't make profit on this particular product. As far as you made profit on the first one that covers the entire product, you're good to go. So I've always been doing all those things and practicing, all those things, but there was no time to it. And that's the difference. Like some of the things that I still do right now, a lot of my friends will tell me that's what they do in project management.
Okay.
So you're just putting terms to it, putting this to it, and it's making sense to me. So I didn't go to school for any of that. I did finance, and that's about it, right? But Didi Beauty, when I was doing 9-to-5, it was a lot of people becoming makeup artists at the time. And my HR at the time said to me, like, "Your makeup is beautiful. I think that you should go and learn makeup. A lot of people are making money from it right now and do it as a side job."
Well, what year was this?
This was in 2016.
Okay.
2016.
Because there was a time there was a rave of, makeup.
Men, women, just makeup artists, right? It was that time. Yeah. So my friend was a makeup artist at the time as well. But I couldn't afford her. She was in Lekki. I couldn't afford to learn makeup.
I like the honesty.
No. I couldn't. Dami. I couldn't afford Dami at the time. So I called her. She's my friend. We went to high school together. And I said, Dami, I need to learn makeup. I don't have money right now. And she said, sure, come. But you come maybe every 2 days. I went every day. I went every day because I was alone. I was living in Lekki, So after school, after work, I didn't have anywhere to go but just go home. So at some point she said, Dori, I told you to come every 2 days. I said, but it's not like I'm disturbing you. I will help you, with your clients. So I came every day for a month. I paid her. And then when it was time to buy my kits, remember all these years, my dad had been buying makeup. True. I didn't know what the cost was. I didn't know how much it cost to buy makeup. And then it was time to buy my kit. But obviously I couldn't tell my dad that I was leaving finance to become a makeup artist. He would think I was psycho, right? So I had to buy myself, and I realized how expensive it was. And I thought to myself, I'm in finance, I make decent money. I'm a makeup artist, I make decent money. I cannot afford a MAC brow pencil, and I've been using it all these years. When I wanted to buy at the time, it was 8,000 naira in 2017. I could not afford it. No. And I'm like, how are people affording to buy makeup? So I thought to myself, everybody's trying to be a makeup artist. Instead of me to join the crowd, I need to provide them the tools to successfully become makeup artists. And I started doing that research. But I was doing 9 to 5 at the time. So there was another friend of mine that she was not as busy as I was in finance. And I said, you know what? I'll be the brains and whatever, you just do the selling, which is attend to customers and all of that. So we started with lashes. We took a loan and they were charging us 6%.
How much was the loan you took?
250K.
Okay, as at then. Okay.
And it was 6%, 6% per month for 6 months.
It's safe to say you started your business with 250,000 naira.
Yes, I started with 250,000 naira, and I was paying back what's it called? It wasn't per annum, it was a flat rate. Okay. But by the time we were done paying and by the time we were done selling, we didn't have anything left. There's no money left, nothing. My brother was working close to my house at the time. I mean, he was coming from home, and then his salary was just for transport fare. And I said, okay, please, if you give me next month's salary or something, or just give me something out of it, I'll refund you since you're not really using it. And then I took 50K from him. And then I did some research, then we moved into beauty blenders. And the beauty blenders were so good. That's what you talked about. They were so good that it sold out in no time.
Okay, but I just want to take you back quickly. So doing the lashes, and I would say it didn't really give you a lot of profit.
Yes.
At that point, what were you feeling? Were you feeling like, I've made a mistake? Do I think I'll thrive in this business?
No, I don't think so. I think at that time it was just a learning curve in terms of finances and money management.
You think you didn't handle it well?
I think I didn't handle it well, and stock management, right? Because I was the brain behind the business. I didn't monitor the stock level, the quantity, how much we were, putting out there in marketing. I didn't monitor all of that. And my partner, I think she did a great job to the best of her capacity and her knowledge, so I wouldn't put that on her. But then that also showed me, like, this is how fast you can get money, this is how fast you can lose money if you don't pay attention to your business. And so I started smaller with the 50K. So let's go back, like, let's use this 50K and see how it does. Like, maybe try not to spend as much on marketing. Why? This is what we still do to today, is just try to keep the cost of operations really low, right? And then we sent it out to, first of all, my friend that taught me makeup. She's my friend, she'll tell me the truth. She said, Dorian, this beauty blender is so good. It's the best I've ever used. And I took her word, and I went to Anita Brows, and then we sent the product to Anita Brows, and then she just went with it. Like, everyone thought she was the owner of the brand. I thought she was the owner of the brand. I thought she was the owner of the brand. Yeah. And she just went all out. She was always talking about it. A lot of people were buying it. It finished in no time. Then we started bringing more. Then we went to 100 pieces. Then we went to 1,000 units. I think at some point we lost a particular batch. Then we now went back into, remember we started with lashes and then everything got wiped up. Then we went back into lashes again, beat another manufacturer, and that also sold out in no time. So now I was monitoring. But at this time, my other partner had just got married. And you know the story, when you get married, first of all, you focus on your family. So now it was only me working. And then at some point we had the dollar issue where the 41 items list, you can't get dollar to do this. So I had a friend at the time that, you know, we were kicking or whatever. And then he said, he said, you know, I have $500 here. If you need it, I can. You know,
and I'm sure Didi will rush quickly.
I was like, yeah, you do, because honestly, I don't take people's money and then just, you know, I'm not the type to hold on to whatever. It's your sweat. I'll give it back to you. Right. And he said, I have $500 if you want to use it. And then, you know, you can pay it back. And I paid it back in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And he said, there's something here. I have $5,000 if you want to take it and use it for now. I said, sure. Wow. And I took $5,000 and then I went into lip glosses and lip stints.
If there's anything I love about this story, it's your consistency for me.
I honestly, I think a lot of things I tell a lot of entrepreneurs is don't take more than you can chew. Just because somebody is throwing all this money, look at your books and see if you look at your books properly, do I have this amount of cash flow? Until you know you are ready to scale, which is the point that we are right now. Do not take what you don't need. And that's what I did. So I took $500. It worked well. And then I put it I gave it back. And then he brought $5,000. I said, okay, I'm not going to throw $5,000 into lashes and beauty blenders. I'm going to add lip glosses to it. I've done some research. The lip glosses were good. And then we brought the lip glosses. And then we went to an exhibition with those lip glosses. We went to our first ever exhibition. And I think we made about 800,000 in a day. And I was like, there's something in this industry.
I'm sure at that point you're like, there's
something
here.
in this industry. This is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. My mom came to the exhibition. At this point, my mom still didn't understand that there was something here.
Yeah.
When I wanted to become a makeup artist, I told her that I needed a camera. My mom sold her car to get me that camera.
But the thing is that I also feel like you had a lot of support from your parents.
You did. I still do. My mom, that's another story, but bless her. Yeah. I know she sold her car. I still have the camera. I've decided I'm not going to sell it. But I still have the camera.
This is going to make me cry. This is so sweet.
Yeah, she sold her car to get me that camera, right? But shortly after, I decided I didn't want to be a makeup artist again. But she didn't have a problem with it. Yeah. But when I still said I have an exhibition, like, please, can you come? She still came. And that was the point that I told her, like, she's like, oh, how much you pay me? I said, 800,000. She said, what? I said, 800,000. I'm tired. I'm not working for a week. I'm going to sleep, you know. Yeah. And then when I knew there was something there, the amount of people that came to the exhibition, I said, yes, this is time to move. Now, the problem was shortly after me and the friend that gave me $5,000, we had a quarrel. And the guy was like, I want my money back. And I started running sale back to back for the next 2 months, and I gave him his 5,000 back.
I almost feel like we're not on the show because I'm like, why did you give him back?
I know everyone says that, but it's not my money to take, you know. So I gave it back to him. I thought,
but how challenging was that for you?
I mean, it was eye-opening for me because I can do this over and over again and still make money, and I was getting new clients every day. So it's not like the same people were buying. You know, so I knew there was something there. And then when I was done paying him, I still had some money left. And I remembered that when I left my 9 to 5, so it was during this point that I just left my 9 to 5. I said, you know what? Worst comes to worst, I'll sell my car. And then we'll survive on the streets of Lagos. What's going to happen? Or else I'll go back to my parents' house. Because at this time I was living in Ikoyi. Right? And then it was at the point that I went to MAC and I found out that I couldn't afford a MAC. I said, you know what, let's go to a local brand for brow pencils since my father has stopped. Now that I've left 9 to 5, my father can, no more lifestyle for you. Exactly. You're on your own, because I eventually told him. And then I said, let's do a local brand. And maybe I freshened up a little bit, but I was pretty dark skinned then. Yeah. And I swatched it, it wasn't showing. It was gray. I said, first of all, we're in Africa, we're black. Why is your brow pencil? You're a local brand. Why? And it was 6,000 naira. And MAC was 8,000. And I knew I needed to create something about pencil for us. With our skin tone, with our skin color. But I didn't want it to be about pencil that you have different shades. One shade fits all. And then I started working on it. Right. So we're going back and forth with the manufacturer for 6 months. It's a lot of send me a sample, and then I need this to be adjusted. This is not working well. But I had a lot of makeup artists that was also working because I'm making these products for them, not for me. So I'm not the only one testing. So they'll give me feedback down to the packaging, like, okay, this needs to be white, not black. This brush is not soft enough. This is this and that. So all of that, we went back and forth for 6 months. The good thing about working with manufacturers like this is you just get to put down a 30% down payment. I said to myself, the MOQ, minimum order quantity, was 12,000 units. The highest we've ever manufactured was 1,500 units of eyelashes. So it was such a huge jump from 1,500 to 12,000. But I said to myself, if I don't sell it, that means my generation will have brow pencil for the rest of their lives. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I did something for my generation, right? But God surprised me. When it came to 30%, I had 30%, but I didn't have the money for the entire thing. And then I went to church one time, wine press, in 2018, and I told God to give me a sign. Just give me a sign. Should I go? This is such a huge thing for me. Should I go ahead with this? And then I think the person that was preaching was Pastor, I think it's Funke Adejumo. She was done with her sermon. It was time for offering. And then she came back to the pulpit. And she said she had a message for somebody that God said you should go ahead and create that product that would disrupt the industry. That was the word. I knew that was me. And I took it with faith. And then a couple of months down the line, we had now started production. Production will take about 3-4 months, aside from the 6 months to go back and forth. And a couple of months down the line, they were, almost ready. And they said, oh, we need the 70% before we can ship. I had gone to another exhibition, but I didn't make as much money, so I didn't have 70%. And they started insulting me like, you really wanted to launch this month ago. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I didn't know who to turn to. And then I went to church. And then there was another word that says, your oil shall not run dry. Now, my mom is a teacher. You know how much teachers earn in Lagos. And then I didn't have anybody to turn to. So I told my mom, I said, I need 500,000. I don't know what to do. Obviously, my mom didn't have that money. But I got that money in 2 days from her. And I asked her, where did you get money? I wasn't asking you. I was just telling you. She sent me that money, no questions asked. A part of me thinks because she came to the exhibition and she saw what
you could do.
And then I asked her, where did you get this money? Because I know she didn't get it from my dad. And she said, I went to cooperative. I said, say what? You what? She said, yes, I went to cooperative and they gave me the money. I know you return it, don't worry. And I took that money and I went to pay them, converted it to dollars. They shipped my products. When the products landed, I had money to clear it. I told my mom the products are here. At this point, we didn't have money for marketing. No money for marketing because at this point, I was dry. Nothing. The only thing I had to myself was food in my fridge, which is, I know I cannot starve in Lagos if my mother is, alive. So we didn't have money for marketing. So it was in my room for 2 weeks straight. I didn't know what to do. I had no clue what to do. And then there was a customer, I think she had been buying the beauty blenders. And she sent me a message randomly that God put it in her heart to help a Nigerian brand that she does not know what I'm working on, but she would like to work with me. I said, okay, thank you. This is what I'm working on anyway. You can call me. And then she sent me a list of distributors that were, in the industry. Because I wasn't in that industry. I came from finance. I didn't know anybody. And she sent me a list of distributors. So I had a list of distributors that I wanted to reach out to. But we did one post and then it went. And then we did another post and then we did a sponsor that and then it went. And then distributors came from everywhere. I didn't understand it. So that list that we had, I didn't get back to it until after 2 months of sale. People came from everywhere, just like, oh, I want to buy brow pencil. I want to carry the brow. Some distributors will come back after 2 weeks. And I know this was rude, but I'll ask them, did you drink it? It's like, you just bought. What happened? What happened? And then, one of my friends, she's here right now. And she was the one that called me. I think I had just taken a break at the time in the US. And then she called me. She's like, babe, this thing is selling. Yeah. Stop selling individually. Can you give us 144 units? And I thought about it. I said, okay, let's price it this way. Let's price it. Then she bought the first 144 units. Then we put it out there. You can now buy 144 units. Then people were buying 288. Then we put a price tag to 288. I was sold out of 12,000 units in 5 months. I'm not sure where it went to. I don't know what I did. Honestly, till today, you ask me strategy. I don't know.
It was, I think, God's strategy. I think God's
if God told you that you're going to create a product that would disrupt the industry, I'm not sure wherever you want to do from. It's like something that God has said, yes, go ahead. There is no going back.
And how did mommy feel about this?
I think, first of all, she didn't understand. She didn't understand what was going on. But she was the one shipping some of the products. And I think at the point where, I took a break, then my sister was attending to my phone calls. That was when they realized. Then my sister called me, Doyin, did you do jazz? I said, what do you mean? She's like, no. Did you go somewhere else? Like, what's going on? Like, why do they want it so much? I couldn't even answer her. And I think at the point that I realized when we were sold out, because the plan was to sell it for a year, but when we were sold out in 5-6 months, there was a customer that called me. You could tell that she was learned, she would take vacation trips, she could afford a MAC or Anastasia or whatever it is. I said, hey, I want to buy a brow pencil, where can I get it? And I sent her to a distributor in Lekki. The distributor didn't have it. Then I sent her to another one, that one didn't have it. The third one didn't have it, but the fourth one had it. So the third one referred her to the last person. And she called me back. Hey, I just want to let you know that I've gotten your brow pencil, but I need to say something to you. I had to go from distributor to distributor to find this thing. When you make something this good, you never ever let it sell. I said, yes, ma. I'm so sorry, ma. Yes, ma. And at this point, I hung up. I'm like, is it by force? Can't you just buy something else? Like, what's the issue?
No, but it's so beautiful that even with everything you're telling me, even with the challenges you went through, because of course you went through a lot of challenges, but you were just resilient. I feel like you told yourself, like, this thing is for me. God has said it and I'm going to do it. But I also want to know, what was that challenge for you that almost shook you? Because there had to be.
I think, first of all, it was funding, which thank God for my mom. She came through. Marketing. Trying to work with people to make them to see value. I don't have money to pay right now, but this is value that we're bringing. It was difficult to get people to see value. I remember there was an influencer I reached out to at the time that, okay, please, can we just use your platform? Just log in and then just do a demo or whatever. She's like, no. I think she said to me sometime, next time when you're talking to me, you need to speak up. I said, okay. I didn't have a problem with it. She's worked with us. Afterwards, we've worked together. We can now afford to pay her. We've worked together. I think one other thing was logistics. It was a challenge, logistics. I bought my own bike. Worst mistake. I had it for 1 month and I'm not doing this business again. I bought my own bike. I had my own dispatch rider. I only had it for 1 month. The guy worked 1 month and after 1 month, I packed the bike. No.
Wow.
And I think that's still a major problem for a lot of small businesses in Nigeria. It was logistics, and I think that even logistics internationally, because I had now sent some products to the US, they were selling on eBay, but because we're sold out in Nigeria, we had to bring them back. And then the company that we used to bring them back at the time were giving me so much issues because I was losing thousands every day. Right. But like you said, if a product is for you, the product is for you, because now this was around December. And on Christmas Day, people were calling me, I know it's Christmas Day, but I beg you, I have a job and I cannot do without your pencil. I'm like, you were working before I launched. Go and buy another one. But no way. And then you go online and then you see people posting, I just ran out of Didi's pencil. Does anybody have a spare to please send to me?
The funny thing is that you say beauty for everyone. And it's beautiful how people keep calling you to use your products and all of that. But I'll say the most gratification should be that, because most times we see a lot of Africans, they want to use pencils from abroad. They want to say, oh, I'm using this. But the fact that now they are happy, they are calling to use Didi's eye pencil. Like,
Yeah, I think that that's very much God's doing. And that's the narrative that we've been trying to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Um, going forward, at least the plans that we have for the next 10 years, that's going to switch.
Okay.
That is definitely, now it's going to be, the Western world calling for African beauty products. That's definitely the plan for us for the next couple of years, because you watch a lot of TV shows and these TV shows about businesses and stuff, and then when they speak, they tell you they got their raw materials from Ghana, and then you bring it back to your country and you sell it for $50. So and then you say, oh, it's organic, it's this, but you're getting it from Ghana. But people like us, because we want international brands, then we order it for $50 and say, oh, we're buying foreign products. The raw materials were from Ghana.
You heard that? Wow.
So what were you saying? Well, you're buying Ghanaian products that are being, they've done good packaging. Yeah. Why can't we do that good packaging and make them buy the final product from us in Africa, supposed to getting the raw materials, taking it over there and then selling it back to us?
But I also want to talk about something, and that is the beauty industry being saturated. I'm talking about now. We've seen a lot of brands, like a lot of brands have come, a lot of brands have taken the test of time, they've watered down. For you and your brand, how would you say you've been able to still keep, that name that you have, like still keep that credibility as well?
For Didi Beauty, I think that we did not come into the market with the aim and the goal to make money and profit. For every business is to maximize profit, right? But that wasn't the goal when we came into the market. There was a gap in the market that I needed to fill. And in filling that gap, I realized there's still a lot to do for the African market. One information that I have access to, because I work with a lot of distributors, I have never been outside Nigeria to other African countries. I've been to Ghana, but not for beauty stuff. But we have distributors in Ghana, South Africa, Congo, Cameroon, Togo, Ivory Coast. I feel like we have a billboard there that nobody's telling us about. We have about 15 distributors in Ivory Coast. I don't know where they came from. That's to tell you that a lot of these African brands, a lot of these African beauty businesses still look up to Nigeria. Meanwhile, we in Nigeria are looking up to us. We have something beautiful here. We have 1 billion people in Africa, and you're looking outside.
But let's talk about the diva community, because we know that you have a lot of women that are, like, you formed a community of women that believe in themselves, that are bold, and are now happy that I can get my shade. First of all, as a black woman, as a successful black woman, how does that make you feel?
I feel great. I feel very much accomplished. I know we're not where we want to be yet. We really just started that initiative, that ideation, whatever, in 2024. Right. I know there's still a long way to go. There's a lot of things that we have planned. And like I said, for Didi Beauty as a brand, we're not in a box. We're thinking outside the box. We are evolving. We are moving outside that box. So there's a lot of things that we have in store for these women. We're just starting out, and I think that what we've achieved so far is commendable.
It's been such a fantastic conversation. If there's anything I love, is your resilience.
Thank you.
And I'm
so
sure
much.
you have enjoyed that as well. But something that I really love is that take home that when you have in mind that you want to do something, you definitely have to do it.
You need to
but
do
Didi
it.
is still right here with me, and when she says beauty for everyone, she really meant it, because that's what she has been doing. We're going to do some games with her. We're going to go on a lighter note. She still has a lot to say about entrepreneurs that want to get into business as well, so you don't need to move an inch. This is MTN Career Series. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. It's still MTN Career Series, and we'll be having a beautiful conversation with Didi Beauty right here. But it's time to do games. And do you like games?
No.
Okay, let's see.
But let's go.
You will
go.
like my games, actually. They're
Let's
quite
go.
really straightforward and nice. So we're going to do the Mogul monikers right now, and I'm going to give you hints, and you'll let me know if it's a brand or a person whatsoever. So we have from number 1 to number 72. So you're just going to pick a number.
Okay, let's see here. 28.
Number 28. Okay. That's a very hard number you picked. I'm trying to scare you, no.
was sweating just
28. Okay, let's go. You ready? Pick another number.
Okay, let's pick another number 2.
Number 2. Okay, number 2. Oh yeah, this is quite easy. So this entrepreneur changed the smartphone industry and built one of the most successful tech companies in the world.
Steve Jobs.
Okay, high five, girl.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's do 7.
Number 7. Okay. This British entrepreneur who founded a music streaming platform that changed the traditional music industry model.
British. British.
Yes. And he founded a music streaming service that changed the traditional music industry model.
I know Spotify, but I just don't know his name.
Yeah.
Is it the guy?
Daniel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I watched his story, but I just don't know his name. That's
and for someone that said you don't like games, you were lying.
Well.
Okay, let's pick the last one.
15.
15. Okay, let's see what we have for 15. Okay, did you know I picked 15?
I know.
I like this 15. Okay.
You like?
So she founded a cosmetic brand focused on providing makeup products for women of all shades. She's also a musician and she's married to a musician. Say it.
Doyinsola Afolabi.
No!
Well, I'm not married.
Get
to
this fast.
musician.
No, it's quite easy. You even mentioned her name.
Rihanna.
Of course.
I was putting me in there. Maybe I'm married a musician.
So we have the apple, we have the fingerprints and face identification. What does that mean?
iPhone.
Wait, what?
iPhone with.
Mm-hmm.
What iPhone?
Wait. So the iPhone, the fingerprints, and the facial
ID.
So iPhone with what?
0 ID.
With facial ID.
Oh, okay, you're supposed to say that. I was about to say iPhone 15 because some of the old iPhones don't have facial ID.
We'll give her half for that one. Okay, so we have a camera, we have a lens, and we have sunset.
Camera, lens.
And sunset. So I have my camera, I have the lens on it, and I'm just trying to take the sunset. What am I doing?
Taking a photo.
No, so what is it? What's it called? Like what's the
Capturing.
No, like what's the profession called?
Photography.
Okay.
This is tougher than I thought.
All right, so this is the last one. So we have the truck, we have the driver, and we have goods.
Grocery delivery.
Okay, yeah, you still got logistics, so you still got
Logistics.
it. Okay, so
logistics.
not bad.
So 3/3.
3/3 again. Okay, but then now we have the one that's a bit more difficult.
I thought the show was over.
Not over. Okay, we are just started. So we're gonna go on a quick break, and when we come back, we do the next. I don't want to tell her what the game is about, so when we come back, I want to surprise her. Don't go anywhere. This is MTN Career Series. Welcome back. It's still MTN Career Series, and it's time for the acronyms in 30. Are you ready? But these acronyms, they're business and tech. So are you ready to go?
Go.
I wish you all the best, girl. I wish you all the best. Okay, so B2B.
Business to business.
B2C.
Business to customer.
AI.
Artificial intelligence.
VI.
Business.
VR.
Virtual reality.
AR.
Artificial.
It's fine. I don't want to go on and on because we already want some. So
okay. So we're good?
We're
good. Thank you, Jesus. We're good.
Well, it's been fantastic having you on the show. We love you. We love what you do. And for me, most importantly, I love the fact that you are empowering a lot of young Black women. Absolutely. And that's just the gratification for me. But I'll be very, very selfish to let you go without looking straight into the camera and just, telling people that love you, your fans, young girls that want to get into the beauty world, and also how can they just sustain and be great as you are?
Well, I will say for sure, one thing that has helped me is, like I said earlier, first of all, you need to find a gap and fill that gap. Then to be able to sustain, just be content. I always tell a lot of people, like, greed can kill any business. So be very content. Make sure that you're very resilient, you're very consistent, and don't let anybody tell you can't do anything. Never. Don't let anybody tell you, not man, not woman. And put God in the center. That's
right. Didi, thank you for being a powerful Black woman. Once again, we love you and we'll definitely support in every way that we can. But that's what we do, MTN Career Series. We bring change makers and we bring you people that when you listen to them, you definitely change the way you think for positive notes. Well, it's been a beautiful conversation. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not to worry, Yellow, my people, we're back again next week with another banking episode. This is the MTN Career Series.